Good evening. You're now with me, Anigui, for TVS Nightline, and here are the headlines for tonight. The Prime Minister and the Sarawak Premier agree on 3 key issues concerning Petronas and Petros, with formal documentation expected soon. Meanwhile, the 45-hour weekly work schedule moratorium for nurses is being extended for another month. On global affairs, the Israeli military strikes a Gaza hospital, killing a journalist and ending a brief pause in hostilities. Sarawak Premier Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Aman Johari Tun Openg outlined 3 key matters concerning Petronas and Petros during a recent meeting with Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim. He said all 3 key points will be formalised in an official document which is expected to be announced soon.
You just wait dalam masa 2 hari tu. Because there will be a document on the agreement between us and PM, between me and PM. Oh, yeah. But just give you a hint. Satu, they recognize both federal and state laws. Nombor 2, Petros is sole aggregator. Nombor 3, commercial agreement which include we will increase our stake in LNG.
He said this when met by the media after attending the 2025 International Construction Week ICW Borneo at the Borneo Convention Centre Kuching today. Previously, Aban Johari and Anwar had engaged in talks on the Petronas-Petros issue, centering on harmonizing the roles of the national and state oil and gas companies through a mutually beneficial win-win approach that serves the interests of both sides. Sarawak is rolling out a new bachelor's degree program in construction management engineering to be offered at 2 of its tertiary institutions, and that is University of Technology Sarawak UTS and Swinburne University of Technology. Sarawak Premier Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Aman Johari Tun Openg said the newly introduced course is designed to address the urgent need for a more sustainable construction industry.
This is because of the need to have low carbon industry, because construction is one of the industries that emit carbon. So in other words, kita terpaksa mencari kaedah-kaedah baru, umpamanya dari sudut material. Hendaklah material daripada bahan-bahan yang hijau, green material. Dan juga cara-cara dalam industri bangunan di mana kaedah BIM akan menggunakan cara-cara yang lebih low carbon footprint.
He added that the introduction of the program also complements Sarawak's free tertiary education initiative. According to him, eligible local students will be able to pursue the program starting this year. The initiative is seen as a strategic move to develop a highly skilled professional workforce and to support Sarawak's goal of becoming a sustainable developed state by 2030. Meanwhile, the Sarawak government has reaffirmed its commitment to ensuring the long-term sustainability of the state's infrastructure, extending beyond the construction phase. This will be achieved through a more professional and comprehensive approach to facility management (FM) throughout the entire life cycle of buildings.
We must break the habit of constant new construction while neglecting existing facilities. With over 4,000 government quarters already built and 3,000 more underway, effective facility management or FM is critical. Currently, out of over 468 FM contractors in Malaysia, only 17 are registered in Sarawak.
Abang Johari also expressed concern about the low number of FM contractors in Sarawak. He said only 17 out of over 468 FM contractors registered nationwide are based in Sarawak, a number that falls far short of meeting the actual needs of the state. In this regard, he called for greater participation and investment in the facility management sector to ensure Sarawak not only leads in sustainable construction, but also in the strategic and efficient maintenance of public assets. Sarawak Premier Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunopeng has highlighted the Sarawak Hydrogen Economy Roadmap SHER as a strategic guide to navigate opportunities and challenges, aiming to establish the region as a regional clean hydrogen power by 2035. This initiative underscores the state's commitment to leveraging its resources for sustainable energy development.
Sarawak is playing its part, as you know, introducing a lot of new technologies for us to implement the policies that is listed in our Sarawak Hydrogen Roadmap. Perhaps at this juncture, we are one of the first to have a clear roadmap towards hydrogen economy. And it's not easy because there are a lot of skeptics out there who are not really convinced on the issue of hydrogen.
At a press conference after launching the roadmap at the Hydrogen Economy Forum today, Abang Johari said that Sarawak will continue to explore new technologies to realize the roadmap through collaborations with various stakeholders.
But I believe with the technology available, and I was informed that one global company, they have a plant in Poland that has reduced the cost of electrolyzer, meaning the production of hydrogen in terms of cost will be less, and definitely hydrogen will become the fuel of the future. And Sarawak is on the right track. And I shared the meeting we had in London with LSE, London School of Economics. And I believe that with this engagement, we are able to explore technology as well as sustainability in our effort to lower down the temperature worldwide.
Abang Johari further emphasized that Sarawak's commitment to developing sustainable energy and the hydrogen economy is demonstrated when Sarawak passed the Gas Distribution Amendment Ordinance specifically to regulate hydrogen.
Don't miss your chance to be part of ICW Borneo 2025, a special edition of International Construction Week brought to you by CIDB Malaysia. Join us this 13 and 14 of May at the Borneo Convention Centre, Kuching, Sarawak, and discover Borneo's construction evolution from major infrastructure to innovative green technology. Expand your network and connect with top construction leaders from across the region. Visit icw.my for more info. We'll be right back on TVS. Hello there and welcome back. The interim moratorium on the implementation of a 45-hour weekly working schedule for nurses has been extended for another month. Health Minister Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad said the extension was to enable the ministry to examine and understand various aspects of healthcare workers, especially welfare issues, before recommendations are presented to the Cabinet in July.
Jujurnya saya masih saya di peringkat akhir sudah ini, dan setelah many rounds ya, saya selalu menyebutkan saya tidak akan puas dan membuat satu keputusan tanpa saya betul-betul menyelami 360 degrees ya semuanya dan memahami program kejurawatan itu the very detail ya, different setting, different grouping ya, different workload ya, sebagainya, setting KA kesihatan awam di klinik, setting hospital di perubatan di hospital sebagainya.
He spoke in a press conference after attending the National Level Midwife Day and Nurses Day 2025 celebration earlier today. On November 21st last year, Zhu carefully said that the change in shift work hours for nurses was appropriate, subject to the public service remuneration system that was implemented on December 1st, 2024. He said the 45-hour work week set through the system was essentially reduced by 1 hour compared to 46 hours a week as provided under the general orders. The Israeli military announced today that it targeted a Gaza hospital housing Hamas fighters in a raid that, according to the Palestinian group, killed a journalist who had been injured in an Israeli attack last month. The strike, which Hamas reported occurred at dawn, marked the end on a brief pause in hostilities that had been implemented to facilitate the release of a U.S.-Israeli hostage. Israel had paused military operations in Gaza to allow for the release of Edan Alexander, a 21-year-old U.S.-Israeli soldier who had been held hostage since October 2023. Alexander, believed to be the last surviving hostage with U.S. citizenship, was released on Monday ahead of a Middle East visit by U.S. President Donald Trump. On the strike this morning, Gaza Civil Defense spokesman Mahmoud Bassal said the Israeli army bombed the surgeries building at Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis, killing journalist Hassan Asleh. Asleh, the head of the Alarm 24 news outlet, had been at the hospital for treatment after being wounded in a strike on April 7th. Two other journalists, Ahmed Mansour and Hilmi al-Fakawi, were killed in that bombing. The Israeli military said the April strike had targeted Asleh, alleging he operated for Hamas under the guise of a journalist. The Committee to Protect Journalists (CPG) condemned the strike. The CPG says at least 178 journalists and media workers have been killed in Gaza, the occupied West Bank, Israel and Lebanon since the start of the genocide. China has lifted a ban on domestic airlines accepting new Boeing aircrafts. The announcement was made after Beijing and Washington agreed to temporarily lower tariffs in a major de-escalation of their trade war. Last month, the American aircraft maker confirmed that Chinese airlines had stopped accepting delivery of new planes due to huge tit-for-tat levies imposed by both sides. However, Bloomberg News reported today that Chinese officials have begun to tell domestic carriers they can resume orders of U.S.-made aircraft. The news comes after the two countries announced Monday they would drastically reduce tariffs for 90 days, as well as continue negotiations. Monday's announcement after talks in Geneva saw the United States lower tariffs to 30% and China reduce its own to 10%.
The talks in Geneva were very friendly. The relationship is very good. We're not looking to hurt China. China was being hurt very badly. They were closing up factories. They were having a lot of unrest. And they were very happy to be able to do something with us. And the relationship is very, very good. I'll speak to President Xi maybe at the end of the week. We have some other things we're doing. Those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Henry Gui. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.